I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Just hours after the Fulton County Superior Court entered a consent bond order for criminal defendant Donald Trump, which had very specific conditions which Donald Trump was prohibited from violating, Donald Trump immediately violated those terms in two separate social media posts, and the terms of bond specifically prohibit Donald Trump from using social media in the way he just did. And Donald Trump's own lawyers were the ones who consented to this as well, along with Fulton County Superior Court Judge McAfee and Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis. I'm going to read for you the two posts that Donald Trump just made, and then I'm going to read for you from the consent order showing the specific violations by Donald Trump. The next question is, what will happen next? Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis has showed that she is fearless. Will she raise these issues to Judge McAfee? We will see, but let's be clear. This was an obvious violation by Donald Trump. Here's what Donald Trump first posted within hours of the consent order being issued. Trump writes, "Can you believe it? I'll be going to Atlanta, Georgia on Thursday to be arrested by a radical left district attorney, Fani Willis, who is overseeing one of the greatest murder and violent crime disasters in American history. In my case, the trip to Atlanta is not for, quote, murder, but for making a perfect phone call." She campaigned and is continuing to campaign and raise money on this witch hunt. This is in strict coordination with crooked Joe Biden's DOJ. It is all about election interference. That is the first post that Donald Trump made. And it should be noted that Fani Willis did not campaign on that at all. Fani Willis ran in 2020 before Donald Trump was engaged in an insurrection. Although Donald Trump's criminal conduct there was probably still obvious for all to see. Donald Trump's next post, about 2 hours later, he writes the following. "The failed district attorney of Fulton County, Atlanta, Fani Willis, insisted on a $200,000 bond for me. I assume, therefore, that she thought I was a quote, flight risk. I'd fly far away, maybe to Russia, share a gold dome suite with Vladimir, never to be seen or heard from again. Would I be able to take my very understated airplane with the gold Trump affixed for all to see? Probably not. I'd be much better off flying commercial. I'm sure nobody would recognize me, exclamation point." And by the way, just the whininess, the being a petulant third grade fascist here. I mean, the obnoxious nature of this. The bottom line is that Trump's being treated the same as any defendant. He's being treated as criminal defendant Donald Trump. And the terms that are being provided to him are the same terms that would be provided to other individuals who are charged with these crimes. Donald Trump is not above the law. Donald Trump just keeps on whining and pretending that he is. You aren't. He isn't. Here is the consent bond order for defendant Donald Trump that was issued earlier in the day that Donald Trump very clearly violated. It says, "The above captioned matter, having come before the court for consideration of bond, and with consent of counsel for the state of Georgia and for the defendant, the court hereby grants and orders that bond is set in this matter as follows." So note that this is with the consent of counsel for Donald Trump. Donald Trump's lawyers could have fought this. Donald Trump's lawyers could have went in there in connection with Trump's surrender and objected to this. Trump, this is what your lawyers agreed to. It says it right here in the consent order. Agreed to by Trump's counsel. Section 1 deals with the bond amount of $200,000, but as we get to Section 4, this is where it sets forth the prohibitions that Donald Trump very clearly violated, specifically dealing with social media conduct by Donald Trump. Here's what Section 4 of the consent order states. It states the following. The defendant Donald Trump shall perform no act to intimidate any person known to him or her to be a co-defendant or witness in this case, or to otherwise obstruct the administration of justice. This shall include, but is not limited to, the following. A. The defendant Donald Trump shall make no direct or indirect threat of any nature against any co-defendant. B. The defendant shall make no direct or indirect threat of any nature against any witness, including but not limited to the individuals designated in the indictment as unindicted co-conspirators, individual 1 through individual 30. C. The defendant Donald Trump, criminal defendant Donald Trump, shall make no direct or indirect threat of any nature against any victim. D. The defendant Donald Trump, criminal defendant Donald Trump, shall make no direct or indirect threat of any nature against the community or to any property in the community. E. The above shall include, but are not limited to, posts on social media or repost of posts made by another individual on social media. And then it says 5, the defendant shall not communicate in any way, directly or indirectly, about the facts of this case with any persons known to him to be a co-defendant in this case, except through his or her counsel. So this consent order specifically prohibits direct or indirect threats of any nature made on social media via posts or reposts that are made against the community or to any property in the community. And so when you see Donald Trump engaged in stochastic terrorism and saying the failed district attorney of Fulton County, and he puts in parentheses Atlanta, and then in a prior post says, I'll be going to Atlanta on Thursday to be arrested by a radical left district attorney, Fani Willis, who is overseeing one of the greatest murder and violent crime disasters in American history, which is false. Donald Trump is attacking indirectly, or I would argue directly, the community and interfering with the administration of justice. It is simply not normal behavior. Indeed, it is criminal behavior to attack the prosecutor prosecuting a case where you are a defendant. You have the right to remain silent, and you may invoke the Fifth Amendment, which most criminal defendants avail themselves of that constitutional right. Where they don't avail themselves of that constitutional right, their conduct, though, is not to further double, triple, quadruple, you name it, down on the underlying crimes by attacking the prosecutor, by attacking the community, by attacking the judicial process. And these attacks fall squarely within the consent order that Donald Trump, through his lawyers, entered. So the question becomes, when Donald Trump surrenders this week and when Donald Trump goes before the judge, will Fani Willis, Fulton County District Attorney, who thus far has been fearless, seek pretrial detention of Donald Trump? Special counsel Jack Smith has yet to seek pretrial detention of Donald Trump, noting that Donald Trump would likely use pretrial detention as a way to delay the January 2nd, 2024 trial date that special counsel Jack Smith has proposed. Indeed, in Donald Trump's brief requesting an April 2026 trial date, Donald Trump cited cases that took many years to go to trial where, you guessed it, there was pretrial detention litigation, which delayed those proceedings. And special counsel Jack Smith, for example, made it clear in a reply brief that he filed that this case does not involve pretrial detention as one of the reasons why trial should take place in January of 2024. So is Donald Trump trying to create a situation in Fulton County, Georgia, where he is subject to pretrial detention, where he does go into the Fulton County jail as a way to try to delay, and then play the role of victim. These are considerations that the Fulton County District Attorney's Office, led by Fani Willis, will need to consider, because clearly there is the opportunity to bring this to the attention of the judge and to force Donald Trump to be remanded into Fulton County Jail. Time will tell. Make sure you go to MeidasTouch.com for all the breaking news. That's MeidasTouch.com for all the breaking news. Also, check us out at Patreon.com/MeidasTouch. Wherever you get audio podcasts, subscribe to the MeidasTouch podcast as well. Have a great day, and I'll see you at MeidasTouch.com.
Hey Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram at MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.